It's good for us to be able to take time to reflect upon like our own history, our own family, our own lineage. I love when I get to prepare couples for marriage, to take them through their own histories. And just recently, just a couple days ago, I had a wedding here at St. John of Paul, and just got to listen to the perspective from the groom on the first time that he met his dear bride, which was there in a football game, a nice romantic setting. And when he saw her, he was a couple rows back, he asked for her phone number. And she looked at him kind of like annoyingly, like, yeah, you can have my phone number. But for him, when he saw her, the first thing he thought of is that she would be a great mom. And she thought, I don't want to get near this guy, but I'll give him my number. Just kind of playing the game that women like to play, I guess, at that age of their lives. Anyway, for 2 years, they didn't really do anything. And then finally, towards the end, they started dating. But it was interesting because I think when you look at like the path that God has you on, like when you were born, what were some of the first steps of your life, like in school and relationships and like where you lived, and you just look at your history a little bit and see back into like different moments of your life that maybe you met the person that you would end up marrying, or you discovered something about yourself that was important, or the exact opposite, great traumatic things. You see, what Paul's doing here during this time and what the church is asking us to reflect on is to see how our history is not just an isolated thing that's going on in our lives. No matter how traumatic or how amazing things are going in your life, there's always a connection to God the Father, who providentially created us in our mother's womb. And no matter what we are, who we are, where we are in our lives and our relationships, there's something that is so stable that's easy to forget. At least I forget it all the time. And that's that we are all the beloved sons and daughters of the Father. So yes, definitely, like this couple, they met at NA, and then they started to get their lines closer and closer until Saturday they became husband and wife. But you can't be husband and wife unless first you're daughter or son. And so my point in all of this is that sometimes it's easier us to focus on the fact that we're a mother, we're a father, and we have these children, and so the pressure of raising children, or the pressure of maintaining a marriage, or whatever it is that we're doing. And so our lives can become so stressful and so tied into, or me, I'm a priest, so they call me father, so the fatherhood, a priestly life. But it all is based on one basic thing, that we are constantly being sustained in our history, the good, the bad, as children of the Father. But the problem is we get matured. We already know the ropes, like a bratty high school person that just wants to be like, Mom, I need freedom. And it's like this battle of like, give me the keys because I can drive. World, here I come, you know? And so it's like Jesus is constantly reminding us during this time of the resurrection, and the church constantly is presenting us as Jesus is the way to where? Not just to heaven, not just to like kindness and loving others, yes, lovely, but most importantly, to his Father. And when he says he gives us a new commandment, there's nothing new about trying to love another person. The Jews believe that you should love another person. The Jews even believe that you should love God. What's new about this commandment is that Jesus says, love one another as I love you. It's because of his divine sonship or his divine childhoodship that comes into our lives and restores us and allows us and constantly brings us. Just like that little girl we can hear who's our choir member today. What is she doing? She's crying to be on her mother's lap. She's crying to feel that she is a beloved daughter. And she is a beloved daughter. But so many times, how do we feel? Like, rah, right? And the good thing is that we need to actually express that. Because Jesus says, unless you're like the little children, you're not worthy. And so typically, at least this happens to me, is I feel sad, I feel this, I feel that, and I just push it down. rather than being like a child that expresses it and says to Jesus, you know what? Frankly, this stinks. I could have some other words, but I won't use them in the phrase right now because we're kind of in mass. But yes, express that to Jesus. Like, don't hold that in. I can only imagine what it's like for Sidney Crosby to wake up this morning after playing some of the greatest games of his life, being out year after year sometimes for like whatever, like, you know, getting his brain scrambled. Concussion, sorry. I had a concussion, I guess. And you're just like how many times can he get back out there after getting like cheap shotted last night by an elbow, you know? And it's just over and over again. And so maybe that's how we can feel sometimes. It's like life continues to throw these crazy things at us. And that's why we hear the psalmist say, and he shall say of me, you are my Father, my God, the rock of my salvation. So let us today cry out to our Heavenly Father through Jesus Christ as we receive him in the Eucharist, to be able to let Jesus take us by the hand and put us on our Father's lap. And never forget, no matter where we are in our lives, no matter what our history is, no matter how bad, good, all that stuff, underlying it all is our identity, which never can be erased, of being the beloved child of the Father.